which is here. Okay, so you can now see this. And this you should be sharing my whole screen. So what I'm going to do is talk through setting up a multi-page document, adding a page number, and then flowing in some pictures and text, and show you how to connect text boxes. And I think that'll probably be enough for one session. So, and I will solve that screen recording problem. It's a bit of a pain. There's another bit of software that you can use. Probably even got it here, but let's move on with this. Okay, so we're going to start on something new, and we are going to start on a print document. So we will click the print tab, and our document for this exercise will be A4. So I've selected that over here. Let me just move this up a bit. Is the size. I want it to be portrait. I'm going to say 16 pages. And I want facing pages. This gives me a left and a right hand. Start number can be 1. Incidentally, if you start at 2, for example, you can start anywhere you want, but if you start at 2, then it gives you a left-hand page first rather than the right-hand page, normal way you'd expect. Number of columns, I'm going to put in 3. And the gutter, that's the distance between the columns, will be just 4, I think. That's what I normally do. As I said last week, I'm going to reduce the margin size. I'm going to reduce it down to, let's say, 8. But I'm going to now delink those. And I am going to put my bottom margin up to about 15. There we go. And I'm going to make my inside margin, that's the margin that is next to the staples. I'm going to make that around 12. Yeah, 12 will probably do it. Now let's just increase both of those. Sorry, I'm thinking this aloud. Okay, so I've set those at those settings. I think I'm happy with that for the moment. It will do. 8mm is maybe a bit close. Maybe it could be a bit bigger. The inside one is 15 because you have to allow space for staples or for a ring bind or whatever. And a very common beginner's mistake is not to leave enough room there. So I'm going to leave plenty of room there, and then at the bottom I've got 20, and that's because I've left space for the page number. So we're going to put that on later on. Sometimes I put some more space at the top so I can do a running head. Yeah, I'll do that. Make that up to 12. It's useful if you've not done this before to have the preview up. But if you remember from last week, that didn't work very well, so I'm going to leave it where it is. So there's a kind of reasonable set of settings. And then down the bottom, I have a bleed. Don't forget the bleed. Some of you did last time. And I don't need a slug area, so I can now click on Create. So I click on Create, it spins for a bit. I take a quick gob full of coffee. And here's my InDesign screen. So my tools are over here. I have them paired up. Your choice may be different. I've got different pieces over here, links and things like that. I haven't got any of those yet. And I have my standard colors here. And you remember last week I showed you how to add a color. And so this is my document. If I go to my pages here, yep. So there you can see those laid out. So 16 is the back page, so that's a left-hand page, and 1 is the front page, so that's the right-hand page. That's all easy peasy. And up the top here, we've got the master pages, which is where I'm going to next. So I go up to here to the master now. I'm just going to reduce these so they fit in the screen. And for some reason, that doesn't seem to be wanting to do it. So fit the spread window, there you go. So there's my spread. There's the left hand and the right hand. Now these are the master pages. So the master page is up there, and it's also down here. Anything I put on a master page, for example, and let's just color it. Hello, there it goes. Will appear on every page, and you can see immediately that appears down there. But just to double check, there's the actual spread. Now, a key thing here is don't get lost when you're doing this. Keep an eye on this pages palette. So on page 6, we don't know that, but it does say it down the bottom and over there. I'm going back to my master page because I don't want that. And when I remove it, you'll see it disappears from everywhere else. It goes. What I do want to do is add a page number, or as we call them in polite typography circles, a folio. And to do that, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to add a couple of guidelines. So I'm dragging these out from the ruler just to define those margins. And then I'm going to move this. Aha, I got the Google thing in the way. So on a second. So I used a shortcut there. It doesn't work when you've got type. If you've got other tools up, if you hold spacebar down, it changes into a little hand. And this one is a bit sluggish. Hello. Oh, whatever. So what I'm going to do there is drag down another guideline, but you see I'm dragging it off the edge of the page. So there it goes. And the reason I dragged it off the edge of the page is because that will now be across both pages, which is what I wanted. I'm now going to drag out a text frame. So to do that, I select the type tool, and then I drag out my text frame. And so that's now at the bottom of that page. And just down there, you should be able to see a flashing cursor. I'm going to zoom in on that area. So I've got a flashing cursor, and now I'm going to put the page number on. And to do this, we have to do a special technique, and that is to go up to where it says type, down to where it says special character, and if you come across, oops, Daisy, it comes onto symbols. I'll just show you these markers and different types of hyphens and dashes, all the stuff you never knew existed. But there is the current page number. So I'm going to click on that. And what appears is a capital A because this is on master page A. So on a page, if I double click on, say, this one here, you'll see it says 4. If I double click on page 6, it says 6, and so on. I'm going to go back to my master. There it says A. Do not type A. If you just type an A in, it doesn't work. You need to go through that particular set of menus. There are shortcuts, but as I say, that's normally the way when you're learning, you need to access it. Now I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to select that A. I'm going to come up to my type, and I'm going to look at my fonts. As I said to you, they take forever to appear. I'm going to choose something. What should we have? Arial black, that will do. It's a nice solid kind of typeface. And I am going to place that in the middle. So if I go to paragraph styles, for example, wrong one. If I go to a paragraph, sorry. Now, normally I'm on a bigger screen, so all these across the top, but they're not there today because I'm on a very small screen. So I click on that, that puts it in the middle. I'll keep that out. Let's just zoom out again. Incidentally, when I'm working, I use all the shortcuts for this, but you can't see shortcuts. But just down there, you can see that A. I can put that away for the moment. And now what I'm going to do is copy it. To do that, I hold down the Alt or the Option key. And I don't know if you can see that. The arrow changes to a double. You can see that just there. And then I drag that across to the other side. and there InDesign is telling me it's in the center. And so now I have page numbers on both pages. If you look at the bottom, let's just zoom in a bit again. So there's that side. And if I go over to the other side, there's that side. Now you can dress your page number up a bit. So, I mean, for example, I could, if I wanted to, I don't know, I could write Mars, and then I could use, say, a square bracket and another square bracket, and then Gazette, for example. And now, with a bit of luck, that is on every page. So there's my screen. It's probably too small to see. Let's have a look at a few pages. I'm going to come out a bit. So in case you're wondering what I'm doing there, I'm holding down the Command key and tapping the minus. That zooms out. So you can see my Mars, the other side hasn't got that yet. If I double click on an even number page, say 4, there you can see it says Mars 4. There it says Mars 10. Scroll down a bit. There's 16. And if I look at 15, you see it's just got that. So I need to go back to my master pages. There I am. And I'm going to grab that piece. Actually, no, I won't. I'll delete that one first of all. Then grab that piece and drag it across again. So that has now numbered all those pages. Now, just to satisfy anybody's curiosity, if I go to page 16, hello, don't want to go there, it goes. If I go to page 16 and I say insert some more pages, so how many pages shall I insert? I don't know, 200. There we go. Click on 200. And now I can go right down to the bottom. And there it is, Mars 216, except for that was a bit silly. So I'm going to undo it, which is a great thing about InDesign. You can undo things quite a long way back, sometimes almost back to the beginning. So here's my Mars Gazette, and I have here page 1. I'm now going to add a headline, and your choice is yours here. I'm going to drag out a text frame, and I'm going to write in there Mars, and then I'm going to return, and I'll remember too many Z's in that. So I got those. Now I used Arial black at the bottom, so I'll use it up here for consistency. So there it is. And now I'm going to enlarge that. So I can use this that take me up to 72 points, or you can type in a number. But what I do is I hold down the Shift key and the Command key on the keyboard, and then the greater than, which is the sideways triangle, you tap that and it gets nice and big really quickly. I want Gazette to fill the space, that's close enough. And then I just want Mars to fill the space up top. Same idea. So I've now got that. Now I've got an unpleasant gap there. So I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to select this bit. Actually, no, I won't. I'll select this one. So I'm going to select this one here, and I'm going to adjust the leading. So to do that, I come up here and say character. So there it goes. So the leading is the distance between two lines of type. And at the moment, it's got nothing there. I don't really care what it is. But I'm going to change this to say 72. See if that makes a difference. Nope. Okay, let's try the other one. So leading there is 120 points. So, and it's in brackets because it's on the auto setting. Let's try 48. Oh, that was a bit violent. Let's just increase it. So I want that sitting below nice and neatly. Bit further, will you go? Okay. So there's my head. I said in the brief, like a popular newspaper. So a popular newspaper will be the Sun, Daily Mirror, probably Daily Express, things like that. It won't be the Times. So I've got both of those, but I just want a little further tweak. So I'm going to select both of those. Actually, I have to say they're pretty accurate for what I wanted. It doesn't always work out like that way. So I'm going to go back to the paragraph. There it is. Instead, if you use these sorts of things lots, you can dock them like that. So there you go. So what I'm going to do is click on this button here, and that fully justifies that. You can see it hardly moved, but that spreads it out evenly. So I've done that. Now I'm going to do one more trick. You'll like this. So what I'm going to do is going to go up to type, and I am going to, now this is important, listen, I'll say it twice. You need to hold down the Alt or the Option key for this. Okay, so you need to hold down the Alt or the Option key on a Mac keyboard that's next to the Command key. And with that pressed down, you click on Create Outlines. And what's happened there is I now have two copies of that lettering. This, which is the bit I want, which is just the outlines. It's nothing else. It looks like letters, but it's basically boxes in the shape of letters. And that's important because now I can come up to File and go and Place. And I can go and find one of my pictures of Mars. Which one should we have? That one. Click on Open. Okay. Oops, there it goes. If you're wondering what happened there is I've forgotten to select it. In fact, if I select both of those, object and they are grouped. Okay, never mind. I'll put another bit. Actually, I'll just I know what I'll do. Okay, I know what's happening there. I'll show you what's happening there because otherwise it's no. So here I need to go up here. It's all right because I was showing off. Anyway, you now know how to do this. You know how to create an outline. You now know how to put a picture inside that outline, which is great fun. And now I'm going to show you a thing called Pathfinder, which is under that window. And if I click on that, they should, but they haven't. Okay. I'm going to ungroup that. What you have to do is make InDesign think it's one object. There it goes. So what I did was I ungrouped it there, which was cool. So I've now got that lettering with a picture of Mars inside it. Doesn't quite fit. So I'm just going to drag it out a bit so it does. There it goes. Incidentally, if you're really pedantic, and I am, you might want to get in a bit closer just to do that. Now, this is a case of don't do what you're seeing, do what I tell you to do. I've been using InDesign since it first came out nearly 25 years ago, so I kind of can judge things on screen. You can't. It'll be pretty accurate. Incidentally, if anybody's saying to themselves, I'm setting the G's over the edge, that's how type works. G is always over the edge. Most of the time you don't notice it, but if you look over here, you can see the same thing. So the only other thing I'm going to do here is I am going to put an outline on that. So let's just make sure we've got it selected. I'm going up to Window and Stroke. That's down here somewhere. Let's just clear out some of this stuff. There's my stroke menu. So let's make that a bit thicker to see. So there I've got an outline on that. Isn't that fun? And you can play around with loads of things there. Should we make it a color? Yeah. Of course, I suppose we should have considered this is going to be online. I haven't, but I will in the future masterclass show you how to put together an online magazine. Pretty similar. Okay, so I've now got my heading and I've got some type in it. So for the last part of this lesson, before I let you go until this afternoon, I'm going to show you how to bring in a picture. You've seen one picture come in already. So that's file. So we're going to go to file and place. We will find a picture of a Martian. Once again, I'm tapping the space bar just to see if it's the one I want. Yep. Click on open. So there's the picture on my cursor. Incidentally, if you leave something selected, it will probably put the picture there. I'm now dragging this out to fill that space. So there we go. Now, one of the things you might want to consider doing is something a bit more interesting than white paper in the background. I'll leave that up to you. And then finally, we're going to bring some type in. So to do that, I am going to click on place again. Now I have to tell you, there is scope here for a mistake, but we'll see. So I'm going to select my text, which is down there. Click on open. So my text is now on my cursor, and I am going to place that down here. So I just drag out a box. Then InDesign fills that with type. Now you might say, hold on a second, Steve, you've got a 3-column page. Yes, you're right. I'm going to fix that in a second. First of all, though, what I'm going to do is with the black arrow, I'm going to click on that red box you can see down there. And then I'm going to click over here on page 2. And then I'm going to place my cursor up in the corner. This is a neat little trick. Hold down the shift key. You see that the icon changes to the thing that looks like a snake, and then click. And now it's flowed my 3-column text all the way through until it's reached the end of the copy. Isn't that a great tip? On this one, I need 3 columns. Now I could do 3 separate columns as it's done on page 3, but I don't have to. All I need to do is select this, and then I need to go up to where it says object and text frame objects, and it says number of columns. Instantly, if you've got a bigger screen, this is just at the top of the bar, and there's my gutter. Click on OK, and now it's done that as well. So in the last few minutes, I have described and showed you how to put together this newspaper. It's up to you to do a few more pages. If you need more text, don't bother making it up. Just draw a text frame. There it goes. Go up to type and it says fill with placeholder text. So that's dummy text. There you go. You can have as much as that you like. And don't try reading it unless you can read Latin. Just while I'm just finishing this, we had years ago when Future Publishing was about 10 of us in a garage. Actually, it was after we were in the garage. We had a program, and the programmer came up with a program that put in dummy text in Latin, just like this. And we all used it tons of times until we had a client who could read and write Latin perfectly well, same as the programmer could. And he came back one day with a very red and somewhat angry face and said, "Do you know what this says?" And we all looked blankly, quite generally, and said, "No, we haven't got a clue." And he said, "It's a really rude story in Latin." Oh, dear me. Sorry, I found that funny. Okay, so back here. So this is Mars Gazette. I've showed you how to put it together. I've showed you how to do a multiple-page document. I've showed you how to do a folio. I have given you a task. I'd like you to do this to the best of your ability, but don't spend too much time on it. So I'm going to sign off for a minute. I'll come back off full screen in a second. Let's just stop there. Okay. So click here to stop presenting. Hello, there we go. So that's the end of that demonstration. So what I'd like you to do is have a look at